A happy game week to all of you out there. Wow, that felt so good to say. It felt so good, I'm actually going to say it again. Happy game week to all of the great OU and college softball fans out there as the Sooners will begin the season this week on the West Coast. The long wait is over. We're back. We are so back. And we've got interesting comments from Patty Gasso, as well as Nelly McEnroe-Marinas, Ella Parker, and Abby Dayton on the 2025 Sooners. I've got the 10 things you need to know the most from that media availability on Saturday. Before we get to it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications as well if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and it also gives you multiple videos a week covering OU and college softball. And this is a place I think that you want to be. It's going to be well worth it with the season starting on Thursday. All right, there's the rundown on the screen. Let's first get to how Patty responded when asked about a starting lineup for game one.
Well, you'll see these three in. Is that enough?
You got 6 more spots.
Right now, probably Abigail or Emmerling. Bella Emmerling will be behind the plate, likely. You'll see this one in the outfield. Sid Sanders, pretty confident there. Ailana Agbayani, shortstop is still a battle. Pick is in there. Someone that's really elevated her game is Maya Bland and Hannah Coor. So there are battles still going on till the very end.
So just to recap that, we should expect to see Abby Dayton starting in the outfield, Isabella Emmerling behind the plate, Sid Sanders at first, Ailana Agbayani at second, battle still ongoing at short, Nelly at third, Pickering in the outfield. So all spots secured outside of one outfield spot and shortstop. And, of course, Ella Parker is going to be your starter, probably at DH to start the year. So no real surprise, nothing different than what we heard about 5 days ago from Patty Gasso. But, hey, more Maya Bland and Hannah Coor praise, which I really, really like. And look, I just really believe that whoever are the opening day starters, you're just going to see so many players throughout the weekend, multiple starters throughout the weekend. In a lot of ways, like what happens moving forward at a lot of these spots, I think will be dependent on what happens during the first month of the season and maybe even longer than that. I really like that there's been position battles that have been this close, and I think that that's why you're seeing her be hesitant on, necessarily naming starters because, most of the opening day lineup is figured out. But I believe Patty when she even said later on that she doesn't know what the batting order is going to be. I think that there's been so many other things to focus on that she's been focusing on, like getting this team ready for the season, that maybe her mind hasn't fully gone there yet as to exactly what the batting order is going to look like. But it'll get there, and it'll get there this week. And regardless of what the opening day roster looks like, I think you could see a lot of change throughout the season, and you're going to see a ton of players this week in California, which is going to be really exciting to see. Next, here's Patty Gasso on the pitchers, including the pitcher that's maybe carrying things the most so far for the Sooners.
I think you're going to see a lot of confusion from the other team because we're going to be bringing in pitchers whenever and however and as many times as needed. So to be honest, right now, Sam Landry is leading this group, but we've got a freshman who is Audrey Lowry, who is really starting to be a tough pitcher for these guys to face. I mean, she's very unassuming. She just looks, but her ball moves. She's throwing the ball hard. Peyton Monticelli has improved tremendously. KD has the experience. She's doing her thing. Bella Smith, you did not see in the fall, but she's ready to come in. So I really like what we have going on. Miss Ella Parker's been in with Coach Rocha, maybe not as much as we want to, but I think she is definitely an option as well.
So I want to start with what struck me the most, and oddly enough, it wasn't even something that was said by Patty Gasso. Did anyone else notice the other players all respond or how they responded when Patty brought up Audrey Lowry? If you didn't, I'm about to play the clip again, and notice how the three hitters react. Watch this.
Who is real Audrey Lowry, who is really starting to be a tough pitcher for these guys to face. I mean, she's very unassuming.
Did you guys see that? I mean, that's pretty telling. I like to see that reaction. That seems like a genuine reaction saying, like, yeah, she's good. We're having a tough time with her. I like to see that. I like to hear that from Audrey Lowry, that she's looking good against maybe the best lineup in all of college softball. But outside that, just some other things that were mentioned. You know, Patty has said this a couple of times now, but they're going to throw multiple pitchers at people. And I think it's a great way to keep teams off balance. We've actually seen this strategy be used against OU before. Now, I'm interested to see if that's how they go about it all season long, or if that's just something that we're going to see during the non-conference portion of the schedule, put a lot of different pitchers in a lot of different situations and how they respond. But just like I said, you're going to see multiple position players this weekend. I think you're going to see every pitcher on the roster this weekend for multiple innings outside of Sophia Bordy, who's going to redshirt this year unless there's just an emergency situation. So get ready to see a lot of arms. Sam Landry apparently is leading the way. Those of you who have been watching my videos all off season long know what I think of Sam Landry and how good she is. So no surprise to me that she's leading the way for this pitching staff, but also nice to hear that Peyton Monticelli is looking really, really good as well. She could be a very big piece of things. Nice to see that Monticelli is really showing some good stuff right now. Okay, one more on the pitchers, and I just loved how genuine this seemed to me, and see if you guys agree or not. This kind of goes back to the reaction when Lowry was mentioned, all the hitters saying like, yeah, she's really good. Here are all three hitters on OU's pitchers.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. I'm just ready to see them pitch to someone else.
I mean, she said it. They got everything. I mean, they're holding us down at practice, keeping us humble. But, yeah, we got a bit of everything, and I'm excited for them.
I don't want to give away their secrets, you know? But, yeah, exactly what they said.
Look, it's a press conference. I get it. I get what this is. But at the same time, it seems to me these OU pitchers are looking really, really good. And the ones who would have the best opinion on the pitchers are probably the ones that have been facing them in practice. And two of those hitters up there were two of the best hitters in all of America last year. So if they're saying that they're good, and I feel that that's genuine, I'm going to choose to believe it. Next up, here was Patty's opening statement, and she mentions this squad. You're going to like this. This squad has that championship mindset.
Yeah, I think we're just really excited to get started. My soul has been somewhat rejuvenated with really starting from ground zero with a very young group, but really excited. We've been working hard. I think we could all say we've been making mistakes, but they're valuable mistakes, so we learn from them. I'm ready to take this group on the road. I'm really excited about what this is going to look like. It's not going to be your traditional look that you've seen in the last 4 years, but it still has all the championship mindset, mentality, grind, grit, humility that is coming at you.
She's excited, I'm excited, you're excited, we're all excited. They've got the championship mindset, the grit, the grind that you got to have according to the head coach. It's going to be a different look this year, just like she said. But hey, that's okay. This team still has all the intangibles to be great. And I just love hearing from Patty Gasso and hear her say that this team, which may be very unique, will be very unique, has the same ingredients the past great teams have had. And on the subject of this team looking and being unique, didn't I tell y'all that they're going to steal a bunch of bases this year?
Yeah, it's going to – I'm trying to learn how to manage when to use it, how to use it, because it's been a while since we've had such a very efficient, quick, aggressive team. So when we're running bases, you've got to think as an outfielder 2 bases ahead, because that's where they're heading. Abby Dayton is one that's going to absolutely create chaos not just at the plate, but on the base pass. We've got probably 5 or 6 really legitimate stolen base options that will likely be in the lineup. So, yeah, I don't want to mess this up. I got to get this right.
Fast, athletic, can still hit for power, but man, they're going to be able to run. OU softball has never been a boring product to watch. It's one of the many reasons the fan base has grown so significantly over the course of the past decade. This team is going to be really, really exciting to watch. They're going to play hard. They're going to play fast. They'll make mistakes, but Patty has even encouraged that, especially in the offseason. But I cannot wait to watch this team run, and put pressure on opposing defenses. Hannah Coor was just mentioned earlier as a player that's really playing well in the outfield, but let's get a full update on her from Patty Gasso.
Yes. I'm excited to see her. She's had really good practice days, and she's still a little bit behind in some areas, she would tell you, but she looks wonderful. Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of you, and myself included, are really rooting for Hannah Coor, and I'm just so glad that she's in a position to contribute at the beginning of the season. Because I think that there was a lot of uncertainty when she revealed that she was having back surgery last June. Like, I didn't know if she would be herself again, but it sounds like she's healthy. She's getting there. She's got a chance at a starting spot this year, and that's really, really cool. Really rooting for her to stay healthy all year and be able to showcase all of her stuff, because I think when she's healthy, she's an exceptional outfielder, but also an exceptional hitter as well. So we get started on Thursday. Patty talked about the non-conference schedule and how it sets this team up for SEC play.
Yeah, I still feel like we've got a pretty nice challenge in front of us. So it is just getting our team prepared for the SEC, because it is a gauntlet. But if I'm throwing gauntlets at them, then I don't want to walk into the SEC with our tail between our legs. Like, we didn't get done what we wanted to. We're still having a strong midweek with Oklahoma State. Kansas is on their way. Wichita State is very good. We've got Baylor twice. Marshall is good. We've got good teams coming. So I don't look at it as a weakness. I look at it as us building a foundation for when it's time.
So hearing Patty speak, I never really thought about it this way, but I'm sure a ton of thought went into the non-conference schedule. I think there's always a lot of thought that goes into the non-conference schedule, but maybe more so than even past years. You know, one, you've got a lot of newcomers, so you want to get them confidence going into a new league. That's the superior conference in all of the country. This is the most difficult conference schedule that you've ever had. So I think that there's a lot to that. So it seems to me that they wanted a balance of finding games to build confidence, but also play some really good teams as well to kind of test the squad throughout. But like she said, you don't want to overpower your non-conference schedule and then limp into SEC play. Put this team in the best situation heading into a tough conference slate. And it feels like they're going to be in a great situation to accomplish that this year. All the great teams have an identity. All the past championship teams have had an identity. Does this team have one yet?
Yeah, we're getting. We're getting there. We're getting there. I don't know. Our product that you're going to see is not going to be perfected, but it's going to be good. And it's going to fight. That's one thing I know, is these guys are not going to quit. And I felt that from the start. So they're hardworking, they're focused. It's just, if you could imagine coming in as a freshman and saying, oh my gosh, this team has won 4 national championships. So what is my job? To win them a 5th. That's not what we're asking for, but it's just common feel for them. And if we can just get them to settle in and not worry about the outcomes, but really about the process of learning and together. And, those kinds of tough situations, fighting through them, you'll start to see us rise. And I'm really excited for you all to watch what this might look like, because I'm very excited to see it.
They're not going to quit, and they're not going to back down. I'll take my chances with that. I'll take my chances with that every single day. A team this talented that won't quit and won't back down and will only get better as the season goes on. I'll take it. And I would guess that Patty Gasso would take that as well. And they're hungry because, and I like this comment a lot as well, so much pressure in the program. Can they five-peat? Can they win another national championship? That's what you're supposed to do now every single year at OU. But there's a lot of legends walked out the door. We know that. But the new hasn't won a national championship yet. And those players came here to win a title.
I love that Abby Dayton is here, that Ilana Agbayani, and all of our incoming transfer athletes came here for a reason. And I know what the reason is, and I don't even need to ask them. They want to get trained hard, and they want to win a championship. And having them here, you can feel their energy. This one over here is full of energy every day, every second, every moment. I hope you do sleep, right? Do you sleep? All the time. Good, okay. So there's just, I think, a burst of energy that we got from the transfer athletes on top of our returners saying, okay, we're here, we're 5 strong or whatever they had. And they needed these transfer athletes to come in and say, hey, we're with you, we're jumping in, let's go. It's the freshmen that it takes them a little bit longer to learn the system and just to get their feet settled. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to let us down. And the harder they try, the less smooth it is, the harder the decision making is for them. So we're just trying to smooth this out. And I think once we get on the field and we play against somebody else, it's really going to show us where we're at.
To me, that's why I don't think that there's going to be any sort of a championship hangover. No lull in the non-conference portion of the schedule. These players and returning players, but especially the new ones, are ready to do what so many others have done at OU. Cement their legacy with the title. I love that. Last one, and this one is definitely worth your time. Here's Patty's view on NIL.
Some of them have their own agents, so they get a lot of things going on the side that I usually don't know about. But I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm constantly, as far as I could go with what we can and cannot do, I'm always trying to help these athletes with raising money for NIL. And whatever it is I can legally do, I'm doing it because I want them to have a life when they leave here with a nice little bank account that has a nice little nest egg in there for whatever it is they choose. And I just keep thinking, and I've said this at our banquet, I think of Jocelyn Allo. And what she's doing now, she's doing well. But if she was a man, she'd be the first pick, I would expect, in the draft and make millions of dollars. So why would anyone look at that? Women are not making millions of dollars. They're making hundreds of dollars. And there's a big difference. So why not help them? And at first my attitude was like, oh no, that's going to get in the way. They know it can't get in the way. They know that. So as long as they're working hard, we're working, Jackie Livingston as well, we're working behind the scenes to try to set them up with whoever we can to where our boundaries allow. But a lot of things that they're doing, I really don't know much about.
So many great points from Patty. I agree with all of those. And look, I know that from a fan perspective, not everyone loves NIL. The majority of people kind of dislike NIL, or at least what it's turned into. I'm certainly one that doesn't love what NIL has turned into. But it's also what's here. You know, you got to adapt or get left behind. And yeah, some programs, I think NIL can tear a locker room apart. I think that there's plenty of examples of that. But I don't think that happens at OU. Like Patty just said it. She wants you to make money. But I'm sure that there's a clear understanding that, hey, I want you to really benefit, but there's a time and a place for that. Take care of your business first. Let's remember what comes first in all of this. Love to hear Patty say that. So those were the 10 most interesting things I heard on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway? Drop those in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.